Here's a photo from around 1869. It shows a patient in a restraint chair at the West Riding Lunatic Asylum, which was in Wakefield, Yorkshire. The very last moments of a Japanese dive bomber. Check out this cool old photo. It shows witches from 1875. Pretty spooky. Here's a shot of Franz Reichelt standing at the very top of the Eiffel Tower. Here's a photo of Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee. It's makeup from the movie Planet of the Apes, which came out in 1967. Here's a really disturbing photograph showing a child being initiated into the Ku Klux Klan. This was taken in Macon, Georgia, back in January of 1946. Here's a photo of Jeffrey Dahmer with his high school prom date. Here's a picture of two sisters, Florence and Susie Frermuth. They were arrested for moonshining back during the Prohibition era. This was way back in 1921. Alright, check this out. This photo is from the 1980s. It features the American suspense writer Stephen King, and he's hanging out with his adorable kittens. Here's a photo of the Blackfoot tribe in Glacier National Park taken in the year 1913. Here's a photo from 1898 showing an Apache woman and child. Here's the first photograph ever taken of a giant squid, and it's from 1873. Here's a photo from 1935 showing a young man, and he looks absolutely glorious delivering ramen. Here's a photo of the writer Anton Chekhov taking a stroll with his dogs in Yalta back in 1903. Walt Disney in 1931 explaining Mickey Mouse to a cat. Here's a look at some vintage Halloween costumes from the early 20th century. Alright, check out this cool photo. It's a picture of Ataturk on a swing, and it was taken way back in 1935. Here's a shot from around 1960 of a place called Hairdresser's Hot Dog. Alright, let's take a look at this photo. It's of kids in costume. Looks like a whole bunch of them. Wow, this is a bit unsettling. It looks like this creepy guy is suffering from some kind of bizarre medical condition. Alright, so it's midnight. Oh, isn't this just heartwarming? It's a lovely photo of a young woman probably writing a letter, and from the looks of it, she's writing to her sailor. You can just feel the love pouring out of this image. I wonder what she's saying. Maybe she's telling him all about her day, or how much she misses him. It's a beautiful and touching scene. Here's a shot of Arnie supporting disabled athletes back in 1983. Time for Sleepy, 1940. Here's a cool old photo. Check out this ice skating waiter in St. Moritz back in Los Angeles in 1932. Here's the photo. It's a father holding his son, a small child, and you can see the child is covered in napalm burns. This was taken in 1964. A photo of women soldiers wearing gas masks. It was taken on October 28, 1942. Here's a photo of a British soldier dressed in his battle dress. He's kneeling in prayer at a service of intercession for France. This service took place at Westminster Cathedral in London on the 14th of June, 1940. Here's a photo from France, taken way back in 1905. It shows a woman all geared up in her motorcycling clothing. Pretty cool. Here's a picture of schoolgirls wearing gas masks. This was during World War II. Here we see a Japanese samurai archer, likely from the year 1870. Here's a fascinating image of Franklin Teenie. He was an extraordinary man known for having 3 legs, 4 feet, 16 toes, and 2 functioning sets of genitals. Here's a neat old photo of a travelling knife sharpener and one of his customers. This was taken in the United States way back in the early 1910s. The chilling exorcism of Anneliese Michel. Here's a neat shot of a remote-controlled model helicopter. This was taken in Pennsylvania way back in 1941, on April 16th. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, let's take a look at this photo. It seems to be from London in the United Kingdom. We've got a policeman and a tower guard, probably standing guard somewhere, and the photo was taken way back in 1934. Here's a photo of a Southwest Airlines flight attendant back in 1972. Check out this wild photo. It looks like police are arresting a drunk guy back in 1950. And get this, he's wearing a skeleton costume. I bet that was a fun night for everyone involved. Or not. This photo takes us all the way back to 1910. We've got 2 girls bundled up and standing outside a snow fort. Doesn't that look like fun? Here's a photo from the Vietnam War. It shows a shell-shocked US Marine during the Battle of Hue in 1968. This is an electrically heated vest. It was developed way back in 1932 for the traffic police in the United States. Pretty advanced stuff for the time. Here's a look at a sleeping berth on an Imperial Airways aircraft way back in 1937. Here's a photo from the 1880s. It shows the brand new parents of quadruplets. Can you imagine? Topless Beach, 1939. Alright, this photo shows a women's pub outing at the Caterpillar in Clapham, London. It was taken way back in 1958. Alright, let's take a look at New York City construction workers. Here's a cool old photo. It shows a rural mail carrier bundled up in their winter uniform. This picture was taken way back in Sweden in the year 1900. Here's a photo from around 1939 showing Dust Bowl refugees near Bakersfield, California. Two spruce girls out on the beach, and they're actually wearing bathing suits made of spruce veneer. This photo was probably taken in Hoquiam, Washington, back in 1929. Here's a great shot of Lyndon B. Johnson back in 1968 singing with his dog Yuki. Here's a shot of a classic hot dog stand in Boston's North End. This photo was taken way back in 1937. Here's a cool old photo of Smokey the dog. He's just relaxing in a helmet. This picture was taken around 1943. Here's a picture of an all-women's hot rod club from the 1950s. They were called the Dragettes Hot Rod Club, and they were based in Kansas City, Kansas. Here's a photo of Elizabeth Montgomery playing Sam. She's doing the laundry. Here's a photo of Dublin, dating all the way back to 1896. Here's a photo from the 1930s. It shows a Chinese Buddhist monk walking on a chain bridge. He's at the Jiangyu Figure Hill Temple in China. Alright, this is a photo of Pablo Picasso taken in 1904. Here's a picture of best friends. Here's a photo of soccer legend Pelé and Robert F. Kennedy. It was taken in 1965. Here's a lovely old photo of Fred Astaire dancing with his sister Adele. This picture was taken way back in 1906. Alright, check this out. This photo shows a cat being carefully lowered in a basket. It's from 1933. Apparently back then, people used to do this to let their cats go outside, especially when they lived in apartment buildings. Here's a cool old photo. It shows someone building a snow hut way back in Knoxville, Tennessee. This was all the way back in 1895. Pretty neat, huh? Alright, check this out. Here's a picture of two girls striking a horseman pose together. This photo was taken way back in 1920. Here's a picture of a fishing boat in New England, completely covered in ice. It's actually from British Columbia back in 1916. Here's a sweet photo. It looks like a boy made a new friend at the London Zoo back in 1958. Here's a picture of a girl playing for her dog. Looks like they're having a lot of fun. Here's a photo of Marlene Dietrich, a real trailblazer in the LGBTQ community. This one was taken way back in 1930. Here's a photo of Harley-Davidson's first factory, all the way back in 1903. Here's a peek at lunch counter workers from the 1940s. This is a photograph of the 1915 eruption of Mount Lassen, as seen from Red Bluff, California. Pretty incredible, isn't it? ENIAC, the first computer ever built. This photo shows a Zeppelin over Berlin in the year 1915. Here's a fun one. This is a portrait taken of a woman and the timing is just perfect. It looks like it was taken around 1900 and she's captured mid-sneeze. Edmund Kemper, the infamous serial killer, is laughing. And what's he laughing at? Well, the detective who arrested him is having trouble unlocking his handcuffs.